Jai Shri Ram, I am Krupa Shankar here. Like I told you, my students lovingly call me Gre Krupa. I have been training GRE students for the last 23 years now. In this video, we are going to learn how to write a good response for the argument task in the Gre Awa. Analytical writing assessment is the first component of the GRE test, in which the first component is actually issue task, where you get 30 minutes and there are 6 grade points. And there is a software, e-rater, that makes a preliminary assessment of your response, and then 2 professors independently make an assessment, and the average of that is your score, which you will receive after 10 days of the test. Now, as soon as that issue task is over, there's a 1-minute break, and then you have what is called an argument task. And this is the argument task. This is an argument. There is a pool of some 250 arguments, and you will be given one, and you have to write a response on that. The analytical writing assessment, second task. Now, the word argument also simply means somebody's opinion on something. So here is somebody's opinion, and your task is within 30 minutes to write a response in which you examine what is wrong with the argument and what evidence the speaker should have actually given. And of course, the instructions are clearly given. In the task, you have the instructions given at the bottom. I'll show you those instructions later. Anyway, the instructions are very simple. You will have to examine what are the shortcomings of the argument, what is the evidence that the speaker should have actually put forward. Right? Now let's quickly take a look at this. Now is the time to invest in a powerlift gym franchise so that you can profit from opening one of our gyms in your town. So if you look at this sentence, there is an assumption here. The speaker thinks that this is the right time to invest, but he didn't tell you how much you should invest in a powerlift gym franchise so that you can profit from opening one of our gyms in your town. So this is actually a recommendation. You know, you can use the word recommendation, you can use the word conclusion also, but here there is specifically a recommendation, so we'll use that word. It doesn't matter even if you call this a conclusion. Now, so what are the terms of franchise? He has not given. You must, when you are writing an AWA response, whether it's issue or argument, you must be able to generate as many questions as possible. So, now next, consider he's trying to convince us why he thinks this is the right time. Consider the current trends. And he tells you powerlift gyms are already popular among customers in 500 locations, and national surveys indicate increasing concern with weight loss and physical fitness. Furthermore, last year's sales of books and magazines on personal health totaled more than $50 million, and purchases of home exercise equipment almost doubled. Investing now in a powerlift gym franchise will guarantee a quick profit. So he is touting this franchise, T-O-U-T. Tout means to give extravagant publicity. Ballyhoo, indulging in B-A-L-L-Y-H-O-O, to tout something. Indulge in extravagant advertising. So the speaker is doing just that. He has given you some reasons. Now we will have to first have a clear idea as to how we are going to write your response. How many words? There is no stipulation. In the GRE Awa, there is no stipulation. In the other exams, there is a stipulation. I think TOEFL, IELTS, you are expected to write some 250 words. Here, you are expected to write in a structured manner, though there are no rules stated. Now, to make it easy for you, the introduction must contain about at least 4 sentences. The first sentence usually, the speaker recommends that blah 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 blah. Now, by the way, blah blah itself is an English word. B-L-A-H, B-L-A-H, blah blah is a word which means a lot of nonsense. So anyway, so the first sentence should be, the speaker recommends that blah 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 blah, whatever. Here in this case, the speaker recommends that one must invest in a powerlift gym franchise so that one can profit from opening a gym in their town. So that will be the first sentence. The second one, the speaker assumes that or presumes that. Now, I would choose to use the word presume because presume is more negative. Presume means to take something for granted. Assume also means the same thing, but presume contains a strong negative connotation. So when I'm attacking others in a debate, I always say, you seem to be presuming this. But when I talk about myself, I use the word assume. I suppose you understood. So use the word presume. The speaker presumes that the trends indicate that powerlift gyms are very popular, and therefore they would be popular even in the location of the reader. And then, so first sentence was what he recommended, second sentence was what he assumed, third sentence, the evidence the speaker puts forward in defense of his recommendation and assumption is very, very sketchy and therefore not persuasive, unpersuasive, right? So this will be your third sentence, and the last sentence, or the introduction. In the absence of the required evidence, we cannot consider this a cogent argument. I used a different word. I used the word persuasive earlier. The last word was cogent. Cogent and persuasive both mean the same, convincing. Right? So your introduction, Telugulo cheppalante, ila antunnadu, ila anukuntunnadu, idedo evidence ga ichchadu, convincing ga ledu. This will be your introduction. Then the second, third, fourth paragraph, more you write, more points you will get. So your first paragraph should start with a transition word. Firstly, that's how it should start. Now, first of all, the speaker says blah 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 blah, full stop. In order to accept what the speaker says, we need to have this evidence, blah 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 blah. However, the speaker has not produced any such evidence, and therefore in the absence of this evidence, we cannot be convinced about what the speaker says. The first paragraph is over. The second paragraph. Secondly, the speaker says blah 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 blah, full stop. If a survey had been conducted, then the results would have given some support to the speaker's recommendation, but the speaker hasn't undertaken any such effort, full stop. And in the absence of a survey or some kind of an opinion poll, we cannot accept the recommendation. Second paragraph is over. Third paragraph. Thirdly, you start again the same way. Pick something in here, attack it on the grounds that there should have been a survey or there should have been a study, something like that. In case if you have already done a survey and study, you attack on the grounds that details of the survey or details of the study are not missing, and therefore we are not sure what is the size of the sample, what is the size of the total population, and whether that survey really makes any sense. I mean, don't use strong negative language. So you will say, we are not sure whether this survey really applies to the whole population. So this is what you are going to say. So you can write the fourth paragraph using the word fourthly. You are not supporting anything in the argument, by the way. And in case they ask, what is the evidence the speaker should have given to support his argument? Well, you will again complain and then say this is what he should have given. So it's just a matter of play on words. Now, fourth paragraph will be fourthly, the speaker says blah 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 blah. Then finally you come to the sixth paragraph or fifth paragraph. Yeah, I think that will be the sixth paragraph because introduction. And the conclusion will be, broadly the conclusion will be, this argument would have been more convincing if the speaker had given information about, etc. Last sentence will be, in the absence of all the above information, all the requisite information, as of now, we cannot consider this a persuasive argument. So that's your conclusion. Now let us quickly tear this apart. So my introduction was, the speaker recommends that investing now in a powerlift gym franchise will yield a quick profit actually. That's what he said. The second paragraph, the speaker presumes that powerlift gyms are very popular in the powerlift gyms will be very popular even in the speakers in the readers location, simply because they are already popular in 500 other locations. Full stop. The introduction, the third sentence, the evidence the speaker has given is very sketchy, which deals with the national surveys and the sale of books, etc. Last sentence, the evidence is insubstantial and therefore the argument is unpersuasive. So introduction is over. Second paragraph. First of all, the speaker says that powerlift gyms are already popular among customers in 500 locations. But the speaker does not clarify whether these locations are similar to this location in at least the major, in some major ways. Full stop. In other words, This location may be completely different from those 500 locations, and therefore what is popular in that location may not be popular here. Full stop. Besides that, there might already be many other gym companies in this place, in which case why would a new gym survive, or how would it become successful is a question the speaker does not address. The speaker fails to do any survey about the existing gyms. Therefore, the argument is not convincing. Second paragraph. Secondly, the speaker says that national surveys indicate there is an increasing concern with weight loss and physical fitness. Full stop. The speaker assumes that this concern about weight loss and physical fitness will automatically result in increased membership in gyms, especially powerlift gym. Full stop. However, this is not convincing, because people can resort to walking, jogging, swimming, yoga, and need not necessarily go to a gym for the sake of weight loss and physical fitness. The speaker does not give us any convincing argument as to how this national survey, first of all, pertains to this location, and also on top of it, whether people with such concerns will actually join powerlift gym. Now the third paragraph. Thirdly, the speaker talks about last year's sales of books and magazines on personal health having total 50 million, and the speaker assumes, as usual again, that because there is a 50 million sale of magazines on personal health, people will join the powerlift gym. Full stop. The simple objection is, what are these magazines dealing with? Personal health magazines need not necessarily be focusing on bodybuilding or working out in a gym. They could be about your diet. They could be about so many other things other than the gym. Therefore, merely because $50 million of magazines have been sold, it does not necessarily mean that people will join the gyms. So I think you have understood what I'm trying to say. So now $50 million may actually be a reduction if we go retrospective statistics. If we take, maybe it fell from 100 million to 50 million. And by the way, who's buying is also important. If it is getting exported and locals are not reading, assuming that these magazines are all about gyms and working out, even then if the locals are not reading it, how will that translate into increased membership for Power Gym is not explained by the speaker. So that's over. Now fourth paragraph. Now the speaker, in the fourthly, the speaker says that home exercise equipment is almost double. Full stop. In this, the speaker seems to be contradicting himself. Full stop. If it is true that home gym exercise equipment has doubled, sales has doubled, why would people go to any gym, let alone powerlift gym? Is a very simple question that contradicts the speaker's position. So your fourth paragraph is off. There is no evidence, no survey of people to convince us that people would actually end up joining these gyms. Now you are ready for the conclusion. The conclusion. This argument would have been more convincing if the speaker had answered all the questions that we have raised, all the questions raised above. Don't use the word I. They say that they don't like it. Well, whatever be the reason. Because since you are writing it, so you don't have to again say I. That will be tautological. Tautology. Tautology means unnecessary repetition. Sometimes people say, I saw with my own eyes. You should say, whose other eyes? I mean, you have to see with your own eyes. You can't see with somebody else's eyes. So that's called a tautology. So don't be tautological, don't use the word I. Avoid using the word I, personal pronoun. So the conclusion will be, this argument would have been more convincing if the speaker had answered all the questions above and provided all the requisite information, such as similarity of this location to other locations, and content of the personal health magazines, and whether a survey is there, details of surveys, etc. Last sentence. In the absence of all this information, this argument cannot be considered persuasive as it stands. Full stop. Listen to this 2 or 3 times. All arguments, you just follow this format and write. Because writing is not easy unless you practice a lot. You will not improve. It should come spontaneously. You should be able to write freely. And if you get a high score in AWA, you don't actually need coaching for this. You can just follow this. For verbal, yes, we need to have a few classes. So the AWA component can be taken care of by listening to my lectures on AWA. Please write and send the responses to me. I'll be glad to take a look and give you audio feedback. Take my number, my telephone number 891-906-9803. Send your response on WhatsApp. I'll give you an audio feedback. Jai Shri Ram, Kripa Shankar signing off. We'll meet again in the next talk.